Alrighty guys, welcome back here to another live stream, my friends. I hope you guys have a great weekend so far. We are going to be going over what we can expect as we head into the future, and something that I can tell you guys. Alrighty guys, welcome back here to another live stream, my friends. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. We are going to be going over what we can expect with that potential for severe weather as we head into the future. And as of right now, we are already taking a look at what we can expect on if we'll see severe weather or not. So I'll go ahead and get the instability out of the way so we can see this a little bit better. So we're gonna go ahead and go to super cell composite, and we're gonna go back to 3 so you guys can get a little bit better view. But as you guys can see, on day 4, this is the day we are watching the closest, as the latest from the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk for severe weather as we head into Tuesday of next week, which is 4 days away from now, and I meant to say this week, by the way. And so this is gonna be something that we do really need to be keeping an eye on extremely closely. So we definitely will be needing to pay attention to this, and let's go ahead and also pull up what we can expect as we even head into tomorrow, because there's actually another marginal risk that's going to be in effect, which I'm pretty sure is going to be as we head to tomorrow. So let's go ahead and pull up day 3 too as well. And day 3 is actually going to be for Tuesday, by the way. I kind of got that wrong, but for day 3 though, we can expect there to be some pretty big time severe weather across parts of there, Minnesota, Setu Falls into Lincoln, Des Moines. Those areas definitely can expect there to be some minor severe weather as we head into Tuesday this week. So that's definitely not too far out from now. So that's something to really be paying attention to as we do head into Tuesday next week. Let's see here. Severe storm filmer says, couldn't showers bring high wind on Halloween in Northeast Ohio? I think there will be. Yes, and we are also going to be taking a look at, my friend, and we could probably go ahead and take a look at that right now. So if we go ahead and move on to a different model, we like to use the NAM model whenever taking a look at things like this. And I'm just making sure it's updated, which it does look like it. And so if we look at the NAM model, for those wind gusts, which I forgot to select. So for wind gusts, we do expect there to be some pretty strong winds as we head closer into Halloween. So this will pretty much be on the 29th, just right before Halloween, and you can tell those wind gusts are already starting to move west, towards parts of Kansas, but also east towards your area, my friend. And that we even got this little tool right there that will tell us. And you definitely are expected to see some pretty strong winds across that area. We're talking up there towards 32-mile-per-hour wind gusts as we head to October 29th, which will just be before Halloween, like I said. But those winds will continue to move towards the east, so expect those winds to increase as they continue to move towards the east. So, we will definitely need to be keeping an eye on it very closely as we do head into October 29th. But, we'll also be watching this closely as we head into Halloween as well. So, like I said, my friend, definitely expect there to be some pretty high wind gusts as we head into Halloween. So, that's something that we will also be paying attention to. But back to where we were looking at earlier, we can even go ahead and select the precipitation type, and we're going to go back to the model that we were looking at. And what this is going to do is this is going to give us a good idea on how storms could shape up. We usually use the mid-range models for this type of stuff, but they haven't gotten out yet, so that's why we're going to be taking a look at the GFS model. And as you guys can see, the GFS model wants to show some, pretty big time, storms, as we head into Tuesday of next week. So if we go back towards, Tuesday will, let's see, I'm just making sure I am correct on this. So, for Tuesday, that will be the 29th. And the Storm Prediction Center outlook, for day 3 is going to be for the 29th, and it even says it right there for the 29th. So like I said, for the 29th of October, which will be for Tuesday this week, like I said, we will start to see those storms starting to bubble up a little bit. It looks to be during the nighttime hours on Tuesday of this week where we'll see that highest potential of some supercell development. As you can see, starting to see a little bit of a storm threat right there during the nighttime hours of Tuesday of this week. So it isn't going to be anything too crazy, but I do still think we could definitely see some severe weather. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on very closely. And like I said, this is going to be for Tuesday of next week, so make sure to keep that in mind, as we could definitely end up seeing some pretty good severe weather as we head into Tuesday of this week. And let's show you guys that other severe weather threat that we were taking a look at earlier. So for day 4, which once again is going to be for the 30th, which will be after Tuesday. So as you guys can see, the 30th will be on Wednesday of this week. And for Wednesday, we can expect there to be some pretty widespread thunderstorm activity right there across parts there of Oklahoma into Missouri, parts there of eastern Kansas, maybe even northwest Arkansas, and even into the Dallas area. As you guys can see, it does include the northern part of Dallas right there. And if we go ahead and select supercell composite, this is what gives us the good idea on if there'll be any chance of supercells forming. And as you guys can see, we definitely will have some chances, starting to see some pretty good sparks up of some pretty good supercell composite across that area. And if we select this tool over here, 2.9, 1.9, that isn't a whole lot, but it is definitely enough to where we could see some severe weather, like I said. So once again, it is going to be something to keep an eye on, so we will need to be watching this very closely. Let's see here. Severe Storm Filmer says, could the November setup bring tornadoes? That is something, that's still a little bit uncertain, but I would probably say yes, especially because it is second severe weather season. And, if we look into November, by the way, we just gotta wait for this to load first. If we look into November, so if we go past Halloween and go into November, this does show, some severe weather threat developing across those same areas that are expected to see, that potential for even significant severe weather as we head into Wednesday, which will be for parts there of the Southern Plains and even the Central Plains. So I do think, we could definitely see that setup for your area, though, my friend. I don't think Northern Ohio is really going to see a lot of it. It's really going to be in the plains where we get this, huge setup in activity. But I would still recommend at least keeping an eye on this, as, we could still be seeing that potential for maybe even some severe weather. We'll just have to see what happens by that time. But like I said, my friend, I don't think you're going to really be dealing with a lot of it, at least with this first storm system that's going to be moving on through as we head into November. But I do think, though, we could be seeing some tornadoes maybe later November, which, it's kind of just a guess. Like I said, it is second severe weather season, and this is, when tornadoes are, another typical time when we usually see those tornadoes. But like I said, my friend, not really looking to see anything too crazy, at least with the first system that we're expecting as we head into November, but still keep an eye on it just in case. Let's also go ahead and take a look at some other models. We just took a look at the GFS model, so let's go ahead and select the European model now, and once again we're going to go to precipitation type, if it's even on here. Okay, there we go. So for, the European model is pointing out, some pretty good chances, for some storms, at least, across parts there of the Southern Plains as we head into the 30th, which once again, the 30th of October is going to be for Wednesday of this week. And that's pretty much going to be this risk of severe weather right here. And I'll go ahead and pull it up again so you guys can understand that. But once again, as we head into, the October 30th, we can expect, some pretty good thunderstorms to be popping up there across parts there of the Southern Plains. And, that will continue to move towards the east on Halloween, bringing some pretty big impacts there. And then, still remains uncertain on what we'll see after that. But it's definitely something to really be keeping an eye on, like I said, and we even start to see another sign of that as we head into October 30th, and as well as November 3rd, which is what's showing right here. So certainly something to really be keeping an eye on closely. We're also going to go ahead and take a look at just a few more things. We're also going to go ahead and take a look at Tropical Tidbits next, okay? I know this is a different app, but this still does show the same thing. So once again, with the GFS model, really pointing out those chances for showers and thunderstorms as we head into Halloween right there, as we do have that squall line potentially moving on through, and then after that, maybe even some more severe weather across parts there of the Southern Plains as we head into November 4th, and that will continue into, potentially November 12th. We'll just have to see exactly how everything sets up, but I do think that we could definitely be seeing that chance for severe weather even as we head into later November, which, like I said, is kind of just a guess, but, it's second severe weather season, so we should never get surprised on if we see something like that. Another thing we can take a look at is the snowfall totals, okay? So, like I said, we are expecting there to be some heavy snowfall as we head into November also. So if we take a look at that, let's see if this is even going to pop up. So we're going to go ahead and select the GFS model, and we're going to go ahead and go down to winter weather, total snowfall, and I will take off that risk so you guys can see a little bit better. But for the total snowfall, if we do it anywhere from now all the way to, let's see, we're going to go 240 hours out, all the way to November 6th, we do expect there to be some very high snowfall totals across much of the higher elevations out here in the west. And once again, this is going to be from now all the way to November 6th, and we can expect there to be some very high snowfall totals there across parts there of Wyoming. We start to, see a little bit there for Rock Springs, so, pretty big setup right there as we head into, November. We also see quite a bit there for the Salt Lake City Valley. It looks like downtown Salt Lake could end up gaining a foot right there, guys. That's quite a bit of snow, guys. Foot of snowfall is quite a bit. We even see quite a bit there for Park City in Utah. It's another area. Even down there towards, Orem, Provo, Pleasant Grove, and even, London, all those areas in Utah, could even see a foot too as well. So, I mean, this is definitely going to be a pretty wild setup out here for the West. We even expect there to be some pretty high snowfall totals across the Cascades, and even up here towards parts there of the higher elevations in Washington. Washington. So once again, pretty wild setup for the West. As we head into November, we could also see a similar situation down here in Colorado, where we're also expecting there to be quite a bit of snowfall as we head into November. So if you do live across the higher elevations, definitely be paying attention, as this is certainly going to be something to take a little bit seriously, especially if you live in the higher elevations. And something else we can even take a look at too as well is those snowfall impacts, okay? So depending on how much snowfall you see will depend on, what we see for snowfall impacts. And we're going to go ahead and take the total snowfall off so you guys can see a little bit better. We're going to go to Supercell Composite. And we're going to take that all the way back to 0. And so, as you guys can see, for snowfall impacts, we do expect there to be some pretty big, impact for some of the elevations during the next 3 days. So not only as we head to November, but during the next 3 days, we do expect there to be some minor impacts there across the higher elevations, even some pretty big impacts there across, Oregon. And like I said, this isn't going to be, the snowfall isn't going to all be in one day, and this is pretty much going to be, at least for the next 7 days, which will be from now all the way to November 6th, and we're just looking at the next 3 days. And like I said, next 3 days, you guys can expect maybe some isolated moderate impacts around, so not as terrible, but still going to be something to really be watching for as we head to November. So like I said, something to take pretty seriously, especially if you do live in the higher elevations out in the West. So definitely be paying attention to that. We're also going to go ahead and talk about that potential for even some record-breaking heat, okay? I know we haven't really been talking about this in our videos, but we will have that potential for record-breaking heat, guys, as, this potential for severe weather sets up. And as you guys can see, we start to see that warm, moist air surge in from the Gulf of Mexico, and this is pretty much what's happening as of right now, and those temperatures will continue to get very high. Look at that. By the time we head into October 29th, we really see those high temperatures up there towards the 80s. Even up there in the Ohio Valley, we could see some 80-degree temperatures, guys. This is very unusual for this time of year. And like I said, this is, pretty hot for this time of year. And so we can definitely expect there to be some record-breaking high temperatures in quite a bit of these areas. So something to really be paying attention to as we head to October 29th, which once again is going to be for Tuesday of this week. So definitely expect it to get warm out there pretty soon. We will continue to see that heat stick around as we head into October 30th, and then we start to cool down a little bit as we head to November 3rd, with not as high of temperatures, but, we definitely will start to see some cooler temperatures as we head to November. But like I said, for, at least the next few days, definitely expect there to be that potential for record-breaking high temperatures, which will be for most of this week besides Halloween, which is where it starts to cool down just a little bit. So certainly something to really be keeping an eye on, like I said, as we head into November, but, especially these next few days. So definitely will be paying attention to that. And if you are just joining here, we are going over a lot of the potential for tornadoes, severe weather, and, even some heavy snowfall. So, feel free to leave any questions down in the chat. I know I've been, messing up on a few things, but feel free to leave any questions, like I said, down in the chat, and I will definitely get to those if you guys have any questions. But once again, we will definitely be watching that potential, and you guys who are just joining, we're going to go ahead and show you guys the severe weather outlook once again, so you guys can get a good idea on what to expect. And we'll go back to Supercell Composite, which is what we were taking a look at to get a good idea on if we'll see any severe weather as we head into Tuesday of this week. We just got to go back a little bit so we can get a good idea. So we're going to go back to Wednesday and Tuesday. So, for Wednesday, we expect there to be severe weather after this thing loads. And so, we will definitely watch it very closely, because as you guys can see, starting to see some pretty good signs there of some super self-composite as we head into Wednesday of this week, which, could even get up there towards 3, but as of right now, it's mostly under 3. So, at least enough to cause, some chances for some supercells. Like I said, not looking to be the worst, but we will keep an eye on it just in case we do end up seeing any significant severe weather. And I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but we have not seen a slight risk of severe weather for a pretty long time. Plus, we have not seen the Storm Prediction Center issue a severe weather threat this high 4 days out, guys. It's been a very long time since we've seen a slight risk for severe weather this far out. So, I mean, this is something that take pretty seriously, especially if you live in Oklahoma, northern Texas, into parts there of western Missouri, and to parts there of eastern Kansas. You guys definitely do need to be taking it seriously, like I said. Definitely something to not ignore as we head into Wednesday, like I said. So, definitely something we will continue to keep an eye on. We'll go ahead and show you guys what we can expect for Tuesday of this week. Like I said, not only will we be dealing with severe weather for Wednesday, but for Tuesday, we also have that marginal risk for Tuesday of this week, which will be just right before that slight risk, which, like I said, doesn't look to be as significant, but will still be something to keep an eye on closely. And I'll go ahead and take the winter impacts off so you guys can see a little bit better. But if we go back towards Tuesday, not a lot, but still, at least enough to cause at least a little bit of severe weather across this area. So once again, not going to be the worst, but, still going to be something to keep an eye on, as we do have some decent supercell composite across this area, which will be from areas in Minnesota into northern Wisconsin, back into parts there of southeast South Dakota, into central and northwestern Iowa, into parts there of eastern Nebraska, and even as far down south as central Kansas. So once again, something to not ignore either as we head into Wednesday, even though the thing may seem a little bit low. So we will certainly continue to keep an eye on that very closely as we head into parts there of Tuesday. And so, like I said, something still to not ignore as we head into both Tuesday and as well as Wednesday of this week. So if you've got any plans on both of those days this week, like I said, definitely take it seriously, and feel free to leave any questions about that down in the chat. I'll get to those, sooner than later if you have anything like that to leave in the chat. So definitely, do that if you would like. Also, let's go ahead and go back to Tropical Tidbits, and let's go ahead and talk a little bit about those tropics, okay? So, for the tropics, we do expect, those tropics to still be pretty favorable, guys, as we head to November, as we are already dealing with well above average temperatures across parts there of the Caribbean. We're talking 30 degrees Celsius, which is equal to about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is much above average right there for this time of year. We would usually be cooling down this time of year, but those warmer temperatures still want to continue to stay on the warmer side of things, unfortunately, and that is due to carbon dioxide, by the way. We also, are getting on the edge of a La Nina. We are kind of in a La Nina, but it's not really enough to really consider a weak La Nina just yet. We'll have to wait for those water temperatures to go down just a little bit before a La Nina is confirmed. But from what we know so far, I definitely do think we will get into a La Nina before winter, which will definitely bring that favorable setup for, winter storms and other things like that as we head into the winter. So once again, something to keep an eye on right there too, as well as we head into this winter and of course this November for, both the tropics and as well as that potential La Nina setup. And so, we will keep an eye on it, like I said, and, of course, that severe weather potential, too, as well. I may even be live for this, guys. I may even be live, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, as I, will keep you guys posted with the latest on what we can expect as we head into, the next few days of this week, which, like I said, the marginal risk we're taking a look at right now will be for Tuesday of this week. And then that yellow risk that we took a look at, which is that slight risk, by the way, issued on day 4. That slight risk is going to be for Wednesday, okay? So like I said, this is definitely something to really be watching for, and like I said, I might even be live for this, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. We will keep you guys updated with the latest on what we can expect with this system. But once again, if you do live in the slight risk for Wednesday, make sure you are taking this very seriously once again. So, definitely something to never ignore, and of course to take very seriously once again, like I said. Definitely something to be taken seriously. Let's, now go ahead and take a look at something we have not took a look at yet, which is pretty much going to be the excessive rainfall outlook, okay? This is another thing we kind of have to worry about whenever, big storm system like this moves on through, and this is pretty much going to be the probability of flooding. So if we go to the excessive rainfall outlook, starting off on day 1, as you guys can see, not really seeing any sight of excessive rainfall as we head, throughout the rest of today, which is pretty much day 1. For day 2, though, still no sign of any excessive rainfall outlook. But look what happens as we head into day 4, though. We got a huge area that could definitely see some isolated flash flooding as we head into Wednesday, okay? So, something to really be paying attention to and, of course, be taking seriously. So, once again, not only will we be dealing with that severe weather potential, but we'll also be dealing with that potential for isolated flooding as we head into Wednesday. So, also make sure to be watching for flooding and not just, that potential for severe weather. And like I said, potentially even significant severe weather. And then for day 5, that will continue, to move across parts there of the Southern Plains and even into the Dixie Alley area, and I would not be surprised if this did extend into parts there, of the Ohio Valley, and that will pretty much be after Wednesday on Halloween. And I know, you guys may be getting a little bit confused on where exactly this will be at, but, we definitely are expecting to, at least see that minor flood threat, as we head into Halloween. So something to really be keeping an eye on, and let's say even be paying attention to as we head into Halloween. So, something to really be paying attention to and keeping an eye on as well. If we go back to the Storm Prediction Center outlook, because we can even have day 4 up at the same time as we have the excessive rainfall outlook on. We just got to go back to day 4, which is what we were taking a look at before. So, like I said, that excessive rainfall outlook kind of does include most of that slight risk on Wednesday for this week once again. So, like I said, it's definitely not something to ignore as we head into Wednesday this week once again. Something that we shouldn't even stop paying attention to. We will certainly be keeping an eye on it, like I said, not only for that potential for severe weather, but also that potential flooding. So make sure to keep that in mind, especially if you do live in the slight risk or this marginal risk of severe weather and flooding as we head into Wednesday of this week. And like I said, feel free to leave any questions, comments, or concerns down in the chat. This is the right time to answer them, as we already took a look at most of what we wanted to. We are still watching for that potential of severe weather these next few days, like I said, which, I will be live for if something huge ends up happening. And like I said, if you want to continue to stay updated with the latest, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we will continue to, watch everything very closely. So make sure to subscribe. Like I said, we will continue to keep you guys updated with the latest as we head into these next few days, including the day where we could even see some significant severe weather, and like I said, maybe even a little bit of minor flooding, which once again will be for Wednesday of this week. So like I said, make sure to be paying attention to this, as we will certainly keep you guys updated with the latest. We also been live for about 30 minutes too as well, so make sure to subscribe if you'd like to stay tuned for more weather updates. And we're getting ready to end the stream pretty soon, so like I said, this is the right time to answer any questions that you guys have, and we will keep both of these up if you guys have anything. But real quick before we end the stream, I'm just going to explain everything just one more time so that way you guys understand. Because like I said, the slight risk for severe weather across parts there of Oklahoma, heading into Kansas City, into Springfield, Tulsa, and even down there towards Dallas, you guys are going to be at risk for both flooding and significant severe weather as we head into Wednesday of this week. So keep that in mind if you do live across any of those areas. And even you guys up here towards Madison, Wisconsin could experience some flooding as we head into Wednesday of this week. So once again, definitely be keeping an eye on it very closely. For snowfall impacts, like I said, we can expect there to be some pretty big snowfall impacts during the next few days, as we are already starting to see some moderate ones pull up. I'm just going to quickly go ahead and close these tabs real quick so that way you guys can see a little bit better. But like I said, for snowfall impacts during the next 3 days, which will be, today, tomorrow, and as well as into Wednesday, you guys can expect there to be some pretty good impacts across the higher elevations. So definitely be taking it seriously through the middle of this week, as we will likely see some impacts across the higher elevations there across the west. So like I said, if you do live across those areas, definitely make sure you are taking it seriously. But that's about all I wanted to do in this live stream. Thank you guys so much for joining with me. Like I said, I apologize if I did mess up a little bit. I am still learning more about how to make things better, which if you guys would like to continue to see that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We will keep you guys posted with the latest on what we can expect as we head into November. And like I said, I might even be live for one of these risks for severe weather, maybe even as we head into Wednesday. So it just depends on what happens, but I do think I will at least be live for Wednesday of this week. So like I said, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We will keep you guys posted with the latest on what we can expect as we head into Halloween, and I hope